This is a movie that stars Tupac Shakur, Jim Belushi, and Dennis Quaid. He plays a homeless man. So, the synopsis on IMDb: after murdering an undercover DEA agent, two corrupt cops scramble to cover up what they've done. So it's an interesting movie my brother told me about. I've never heard of it, but so basically Jim Belushi and Tupac are cops in LA. Pretty sure it's LA. And they have a pretty good thing going on where they rob, where they sell like a drug dealer like a bunch of drugs, and then like right after that they go out and they kill them and then take the drugs back, and they just do it over and over again. And they've made a bunch of money, but one night they're brought a guy by Leela Roshan, who is like a stripper and sleeps with James Belushi. And so she's part of this whole thing too. But see, they don't really care though, because they don't. I mean, it is true. A lot of the people that they're killing are pretty bad people. But this night they do this to this guy. They sell him drugs. That he leaves. That James Belushi and Tupac drive out with their car, kill him in a drive-by. And they always make it look gang-related. It's like gang-related violence. Like they're killing a drug dealer and stealing his money and drugs. And they think, okay, we just did that again. And I think they've done it like 10 times. So then they leave, and then like the next day they get called to the scene of the murder to investigate the murder, which, you know, is good for them because then they can control the investigation. But then like a day later they like the DEA shows up, and it's like, yeah, that's one of our guys. He's a DEA agent. So then they start freaking out because then the federal government's involved, and they need someone to pin this on quick because their boss is like, hey, you need to solve this quick or they're going to take over the investigation. And he's like, and you know, I don't want DEA in my office yelling at me, so you better solve this quick. So they try to pin it on a couple different guys, but they all have like really strong alibis, so it's not going to work. And then Belushi is leaving that stripper's house, Leela Roshan, and he sees Dennis Quaid, who's this homeless guy that lives right by her place, and Roshan knows him. She kind of like helped him out one night because he was totally drunk in the middle of the street, just lying there, and she got him out of the middle of the street because he was gonna get ran over. And he's like, huh, maybe we could pin it on him. So then he goes and gets the gun that's the murder weapon, and then he puts it in the guy's pocket, and then they basically, through liquor, Tupac and Belushi convinced Dennis Quaid that he did it. Because he's, you know, a huge alcoholic, just constantly drunk. And later on, you find out things about Dennis Quaid too, but yeah, and that's kind of the setup for the movie. So it's an entertaining movie. I liked it. You know, it's interesting because Tupac only did a couple movies. You know, he's a pretty good actor. I don't think he's amazing, but he's pretty good. I mean, James Belushi, I think, takes the lead, but they're pretty good together, and apparently they became pretty good friends. You know, it's sad that he died. On the trivia, it says that he was going to do the score. I guess Tupac was supposed to do the score for the movie, but died before he could. There are some Tupac songs in it. The police station location was the same one used in Steven Seagal's thriller The Glimmer Man. But yeah, there's not that much trivia. I mean, it's kind of a forgotten movie. The F word and its derivatives are said more than 165 times. But but yeah, I'll get into spoilers now. Spoilers. So later on in the movie, they pretty much think they have this thing done because they get Leela Roshan to say that she was a witness. She saw him do this, even though she realizes that she knows the guy, and she feels bad because he's like, somewhat of a nice guy, but he's just a hopeless drunk. Like I don't think he's getting violent with people, but they're trying to pin this violent crime on him. But then, but Belushi, leads on her, and he's a dangerous guy. So she has to do it. So she lies and says that he killed the guy because he was going to get hit by the car, and then he pulled the gun out and then shot the guy. And then they think that that's done, and that it won't go to trial or anything. But um, it turns out that Dennis Quaid is like the heir to this $1 billion fortune, him and his brother. But then one night, a few weeks after his wife and kid were killed in a car accident, he just disappeared. And he did like work in Africa with like children. He was a doctor. So some people thought he maybe went back to Africa and just disappeared. But he just disappeared, became a homeless guy that just tries to drink, uh tries to just constantly be drunk because he blames himself for what happened to his wife and kid. But anyways, James Earl Jones is in it as a lawyer, and he's like a lawyer for their estate, I think. But he sees his photo in the newspaper, and then he's like, oh, that's him, he's alive, and he's like right here. So that he goes and becomes his lawyer, helps him remember his name because, well, he says he doesn't remember his name, but that was probably a ruse because he actually believes he killed this guy because Tupac and Belushi convinced him that. But then they're gonna go to trial, and then Roshan has to go and testify there. She doesn't like that. She tries to run. So and then it all just starts to fall apart because then they get her, and she's on the stand, and things don't make sense what she's saying. So she gets charged for perjury. So then they lose that. The case is falling apart. Um, and basically Belushi and Tupac begin to turn on each other. Um, and then throughout all of this, Tupac also owes like a bunch of money to bookies because he's a degenerate gambler, which is probably why he's doing this whole scheme to steal money or whatever, kill drug dealers and take back their drugs and sell it again. So he has all that going on. James Belushi is freaking out. Tupac wears a wire because then he goes to the DA, tells him what is occurring. So James Belushi then disappears, and and then the whole case against Dennis Quaid falls apart because he's innocent, obviously. So, but it's a good movie. I mean, it shows like how corrupt the system can be, especially if you have a corrupt cop because they have so much power. And then, especially, you just get one witness that's fake to lean on them, and then they could say that they saw something that didn't occur. And they're also planting the gun in the evidence room, saying that this gun was on Dennis Quaid, even though they just planted it in the evidence room. So, which is the gun that they used on the uh the drug dealer. So especially if you have corrupt cops involved, like the whole system just doesn't work because the DA relies on the cops to get witnesses to handle evidence. So yeah, and it's in LA in the 1990s, and I know that the police and the LA police, they are famous for being corrupt, especially back then, but I don't know, even to this day, I think. But so yeah, but it's a good movie. It's interesting to see Tupac play a cop, even though he's a corrupt cop. He's not quite as bad as Belushi. Belushi's pretty evil. Like he tries to like kind of, he's saying to Tupac, well, like, we only kill bad guys. He's like, they're drug dealers. And Tupac's like, well, you killed a DEA agent, and he's like, yeah, but that was on accident. We didn't mean to. He's like, we've done it 10 or 11 times, and he's like, and only one time did we mess up. They're pretty good together as friends. Like they have some scenes where they're like in some bars drinking, and he's trying to cheer up Tupac because he's just like really, he's like, we shouldn't have been doing this. But Belushi's like, these aren't human beings. They're drug dealers. Like he's like, they have long rap sheets of violence against women, constantly selling drugs, getting arrested, being thieves, and you know, so but yeah, I like James Belushi or Jim Belushi. Quit calling him James. Um, he's in Red Heat with Arnold, which he plays a cop in that too. So good actor. He's kind of funny too. He makes some good jokes, especially in Red Heat with Arnold. But yeah, and Darth Vader's in it. James Earl Jones himself. And I'm not a big Dennis Quaid fan, but he's pretty good in this though. I gotta say. I mean, he's like, he has this huge beard when they get him, and he's homeless. But then slowly he sobers up. He starts having withdrawals. They take him to the hospital. He starts sobering up, combing his hair, and yeah, he's totally innocent. But yeah, check it out, Gangland. Directed by Jim Koof. I haven't really seen any. Let's see, what else did he do? He's a writer on National Treasure. I think this may be his only movie he directed, but pretty good though, I'd say. So yeah, too bad Tupac died. R.I.P. And like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you've seen the movie, what you think of it, and see you next time.